G'day, guys. Welcome back to the channel and our round 17 review. Before I get stuck in, though, I just wanted to say thank you for everyone for jumping onto the live stream this morning. So, every Sunday, 10 a.m., me and Dibble Supercoach are going to be doing a live stream talking all things Supercoach, everything, all the action from the weekend that's happened. And yeah, just having a general chat. So, Dibbles wasn't able to join us, so I was flying solo, but it was really good to have everyone there and joining us for that. And everyone that's subbed and all that kind of stuff, unreal. So if you can sub, like, comment, all that kind of stuff, much appreciated. But without further ado, let's get stuck in. So as you can see, we're sneaking up on them. We're sneaking up on them, guys. So big week for us, 2,767. What saw us score the 87th highest score for the year, for the round, and is our highest score sort of ranking for the year. We've had a few in the top 100, I think, or very close, but I think that is our highest. And I said my goal was top 200 at some stage. I wasn't expecting it to happen this week, but we did it. The boys stood up. So we jump into the top 200, so ranked 192. That leaves only one goal, guys. That leaves the top 100. We're hunting. We're hunting them down like Cyril Rioli. That's. I feel like my team is like Cyril Rioli right now, and we're just hunting that top 100. So no one gets away from Cyril Rioli. So we on the rise. Um, Look, it helps when you make a couple of lucky decisions and you have some luck go your way. And I think my team sort of had that this week, but we'll break that down as well. There's some huge scores throughout the week. So we will take a look at that even further. But I did want to mention, I said my goal was top 200 in Supercoach, but I wanted to get to 200 subs. And we're nearly there. I think we're at 180. So surely we can get 20 subs for getting to 200, top 200 rank. And then when I get to top 100 rank, I'm expecting 1,000 subs dead set. I'm only kidding, of course. But thank you for everyone that's jumped on board. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the round and what happened. We'll break down my team and who stood up for me. So our trading this week is our D1 Naz, and he went absolutely crazy. So 160, absolutely demolished Essendon. I don't know if you guys watched that game. I did start watching it, but then um, it got too much to watch for me. Like, honestly, like, I feel for Essendon. Like, I don't really like Essendon in general, and it's one thing to feel bad for another club because, like, eventually that'll be your club, and that's what I'm thinking. Like, while they're down, at least my team's not like that. But gosh, I just feel for Essendon. Like, I feel for their fans, and I feel for Andy McGrath was like getting interviewed after the game and just copping it. Like, is it lack of effort? Is it this? Is it that? Like, fuck, like, poor Essendon, but they're bad, man. They're so bad. And I think I spoke about this in my preview video. I don't think it's ever mattered so much for matchups in Supercoach. Like, I think when your team, when you got your players coming up against those really bad teams like Richmond and Essendon, basically those two teams, a good captain is going to come out of those games. Like, so I think it's a good idea to have a captain that is playing against one of those two teams. I don't even care if they're sort of not that great. Mind you, it did fail for me this week as I suggested Sam Walsh, even though I didn't have him. But George Hewitt sort of went 140 and Naz has gone 160. So I think there's something, I don't think it's ever mattered, and I've never really cared about it so much before this season. But those two teams are so bad that I think it actually just, you basically just put a vice captain or a captain on a player that's playing against those two teams. And for leagues, I think honestly it's worth looking at who's playing Richmond and Essendon in the last two rounds, right? I actually think it is because not only are they going to get you so much more points, they're going to be a captain for them, for you guys. So whoever plays Richmond and Essendon in the last two rounds, I think is worth looking at for winning leagues. And I would never any other season really care about who players are playing against, but they're just, I think they're far and away the worst two teams I've seen in a long time. Let's have a look at, yeah, let's move on. Max Holmes, 114, so he was really good on the Thursday night. Look, I think D1 and D2 are going to be Naz and Holmes, right? So I did say that you got to have them both. I thought Max Holmes was going to score more on the run home. If Naz does 160 every week, that's going to be real tough. But I think I like either of those guys. I think you got to have them both. In a good side, you're probably going to have them both. Lockie Ash was good again, 105, smack bang on his average. with Lockie Whitfield going down, he'll probably get that sweeper role a little bit more even next week. So I'm expecting sort of like a spike score almost from him next week. He is against the Cats though, so who knows? So good start from our back line. Luke Parker went massive again, so 142. So he's been a really good trade in. I did say I was nervous about bringing him in, but um, look, he's the proof's in the pudding. He's averaging 107 as a defender. He's really good. He takes a lot of kick-ins. He actually takes part in the play too. Like people forget, Luke Parker comes third in the Brownlow. Like this isn't some chump that they just chucked back there. Like he was a superstar, and in a team like North Melbourne, he's one of their best players. So um, yeah, he was really really good in that game against Port Adelaide. This one sort of cost us a little bit because he was on fire. Like he scored 68 and got knocked out before half time, Lockie Whitfield. So if he didn't catch that stray elbow, I think this would have been another ton. So we've missed out on probably 40 points here. What's a bit disappointing, but you know what? Like it's not the worst thing in the world, and I'm in a pretty lucky position that I'm not fielding Hugo Hawkerhan, and a lot of teams are. So next week I'll probably just plan on bringing him on and giving Lockie a spell for a week. Hopefully he's not out for more than one, but we'll see with that one. So that was that kind of sucked. But we didn't end up taking that score because it was our lowest score in the team of 23. But would have been nice for him to get the ton that he was on target for. Worrell sort of found a way to sneak to 81. At one stage, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have Hawker Hahn score 120 because he was on fire, and I'm going to have Worrell score 60 and not have taken it. But Worrell was able to sort of turn the tide in the last half and at least get to an 80. Well, it's not too bad. I don't like. I just hate those low scores. Like when players drop 60s, it really pisses me off. So 81's good score. I'll take that. And on the bench, we had decent cover. Hawker Hahn 73 and Anand 54. Can't complain with that. Dacos 133. So yeah, he was good once again, and sort of since after the bye, he's sort of returned back to the form of the Nick Dacos that we know, and that 133 is sort of like a standard score for someone like Nick, isn't it? So hopefully this trend continues with him. Zach Butters was pretty decent to get to 103. He was getting a lot of attention in that game, and he's basically just a walking ton. Hey, like he just gets a ton at least, even if he cops the tag. And um, when he's able to get on top of the game, he gets those 130 plus scores. So no one's complaining about Zach Butters, that's for sure. Bailey Smith sort of a return to form, kind of like he's just a guaranteed ton as well. Basically, like he's very similar to Zach Butters. Like no matter what, they basically get to 100 or score higher. So he was able to do that again for us, 125. Bontempelli is an interesting one. He's not having the best run. Is he? Like since I brought him in, he hasn't been that good for my side, to be honest. And I brought him in after he sort of had that big 160 or whatever it was. So he dropped an 80 on the weekend against Sydney, who isn't really a great matchup for him. He always seems to cop attention from Jordan, and he matches up really well against Marcus Bontempelli for some reason. So um, yeah, only an 80 is real disappointing for someone who we think can be sort of the best midfielder in the game. Only 80 points is not fantastic. Now, my boy, you guys know how much I like Georgie Hewitt. 140 he dropped, and yeah, he was great against Richmond. Um, yeah, I couldn't speak more highly of George Hewitt, and I think this is really handy for me because he's going to price a lot of people out finally. I don't know what his ownership is now. Let's have a look. A lot of people will get put off, so he's still not in 1% of sides. What still shocks me a little bit, but I know he's not the sexy name, right? He's not Isaac Heaney, he's not Jordan Dawson, he's not Anderson, but I tell you what, he performs like one. He performs like one. He's got the name of like, you know, he reminds me of Jared Lyons. Honestly, he reminds me of Jared Lyons, who just didn't have sort of like the premium name or price tag, but performs like one. And I just thought he was a steal at the price, and so far, he's doing really well for me. He has to continue to do it for the rest of the year, of course. It is only a few games, but at this stage, it's looking like a good get for me, and could be a good pod and um, a good pod for me for the rest of the season for me to try to make up some ranks because I couldn't afford those top guys. Like the reality is I probably would have gone Dawson or Heaney, right? But at the price point, I don't think you're going to get much better than George Hewitt. Clayton Oliver just keeps ticking over. 112 again. He's averaging 107. He's been really good. And I'm probably a bit down on Clayton Oliver throughout the season. Like he does drop these odd 80s. Like every now and then he'll just drop like an 80. But if that's what I'm complaining about, like maybe I'm being a little bit precious. Like, look at these scores. He's got what, one, two, three, four scores under 100 for the whole year, and two of them are in the 80s. A 69, what's a bit, yeah, it's obviously shit, and then a 78. You take that. You take that all day. Like, if he's gonna continue to do this and drop maybe one, maybe two scores under 100 for the rest of the year, I'd be stoked. One score under 100 for the rest of the year, what a pick that would have been for us. He's been a starting pick, and you know what? Like, at one stage, I probably wanted to get rid of him, but I just can't. Like, I can't afford it, and he's just doing well enough to stay in the side. Ed Richards really needs to step up for me. Like, he's sort of the key to my team getting unlocked and get going to the next level, and he's capable of it. That's what's frustrating me, is because he's so capable of performing like a top guy. Like, he can be a 600k plus guy. He just needs to. His disposal efficiency is horrible at the moment. It is horrid, and he's getting enough of the ball, but just needs to. He needs to go back to the Ed Richards that we know: get forward, kick goals, be damaging, run with the ball. At the moment, he just looks slow, and just looks. Man, we need him bad to come back. So we fielded Burton so we could loop on Neil. I wanted to have a look at Neil playing against Mullen. And Neil did really well, scored 109. I think it had a lot to do with Brisbane doing really, really well, and they kind of dropped the tag a little bit because Brisbane just burst out of the gates, and they're like, well, we can't be this negative. We've got to come back a little bit here. So the game sort of situation suited Lockie Neal to be able to get to 109. I hope he runs into a really good patch soon. Like, he had this little patch here where he's gone 114, 132, 111, 132. If he can get somewhere and just give us a good block of weeks, I really need Neil to compete with the top guys, because a lot of the really good teams have Heaney, they have Nando, they have Dawson. It's these players. It's Neil, Richards, Oliver, and Hewitt they're the ones that I need to keep pace with those guys, or else my team is, as much as it has some nice pods in it, it'll fall behind, because Heaney and Dawson are just so good. Mind you, Hewitt stood up this week and was able to match him, so I was really happy with that. And then our cover was Herbert and Fitzgerald, and they scored a 56 and a 54 respectively. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. I don't mind what they do. I'm probably never going to take their scores unless injury or something like that. They are just there for cover, and I just hope they play consistent footy and keep getting games. Now, my ruckman was an interesting one this week. Like, Jackson had a down week. He was looking like he was going to score really well in the first half, and then just completely slowed up. And GWS played a really good game against Freo, so it's very surprising to me that he didn't score 100 against Briggs. It looks like to me that he's going to be directly affected by Darcy coming back. Um, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, I still think he'll average 110, and it's hard to get guys that average 110. So it's not something to be scoffed at. Like, 110 is fine. It's just we want those massive scores from our ruckman that Gorn was able to do. And I just don't know if the ability for Jackson to do that with Darcy there. I think the consistency will still be there, but I just don't think those massive ceiling scores are there with Darcy there. But how long does Darcy last? He's very injury prone. He's also just, is he good for the team? Now they've lost and Darcy's there. Does that make him think maybe we just go one ruck? I hope so. Now this one, so we went Grundy VC, and I was scared going into the last game, and I'll talk through that in a second. But we've gone Grundy VC, and when I started watching the game against the Bulldogs, I thought Grundy is going to dominate this game. We're playing, like, Bevo was doing some crazy shit. He put English at fullback. We've got Grundy rucking against Lob and, like, Kennedy and Bontempelli, and the Bulldogs basically bowled Grundy an underarm ball. It was like a T-ball, mate. You could just smack it out of the park, hit it for six, and Grundy just decides to just block it into the gap for a single. What do you like, Grundy, mate? I needed you to just belt that one out of the park, like, and it was there. It was on a platter for him to just go 150 plus, and he just leaked out. Mind you, he dominated the ruck. Like, you look at his stats, he's got 60 hitouts, 14 to advantage. Like, I feel like this was criminally underscored, but even then, he still didn't play that. I don't underscored by that much. Like, maybe he should have got 120, but that game should have been 150 for a ruckman like Grundy. So this game kind of has me worried. It's funny how he scores 90 in the last game, and I'm like, nah, all good. He gave away 4,000 free kicks. It's fine. This game, I'm like, if he can have a game that good and only score 105, should I be worried? I don't know. But who else are you going to go at the end of the day? Like, you got to have two ruckmen at least. If you the three ruckmen, I can see people making an argument for going for like a midfielder or something like that, because the ruckman with the dual rucks aren't going so well at the moment. But like he still scored 105. He's averaging 100 odd for the last 2 weeks or something like that. Close enough. I just don't stress about the ruckman too much because they seem to fluctuate every now and then, go these massive runs, and it just makes it all worth it. So I'll just wait for the cycle to come back around. Kalani White obviously doesn't play. This is what made me nervous, but he is unbelievable. And we spoke about him last week, saying that I think this guy is going to take over as the next Supercoach king. He takes over from the best sort of midfielders that we've had in Supercoach, like Bontempelli, all that. He's the man now, and he proved it. So I missed out on Gorn. So in my preview video, I was speaking about how good of a captain Gorn is. I missed out because I had some brain fade, decided to go Grundy. And then it came down to today, and I was picking between Naz and Sheasel. Like, I think they were the two sort of obvious ones. I seen Naz go 160, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've missed the boat. Like, the three players that I'm picking between, I've picked the wrong one. I've gone with Sheasel. Yeah, he might score 100, but I've missed out on 120 points then because it's doubled, 60 points. Naz has scored 160, Gorn scored 165, and I've just missed my chance to go real big. So I was pretty flat. But then Sheasel got going, and he dishes out 180. Are you kidding me? He was scoring points. He was taking the piss, mate. He was taking the piss in that last quarter. In the last half, I think in the last half alone, he scored 135 points. That's yeah. Well, anyway, he's a lot of the reason. He's patched over a lot of the mistakes that I've made. And having him as captain basically not saved me because I'm in the top 100 rank, but like for the week. But like my team's not that great. Like, I have some holes. Like, obviously I don't have those big dogs in midfield, but when you nail your captaincy like this, and nailing your captains from now until the end of the season is huge because a lot of the teams are very similar. Getting the best captain of the week is almost like having an extra player, and like, it's obviously such a hard thing to do. Like, and a lot of it revolves around luck. Like, halfway through this game, he was on 40. He was on 40 something at halftime, and I'm thinking I've royally fucked this up. But he come good. So hats off to Harry Sheasel, mate. You're a king. So yeah, to get 360 points from one player is just a massive leg up in the round. Jason Horne-Francis, 131, unbelievable again, another ton. He was looking average as well and just like popped off. He looks the goods. So I'm so glad that I brought him in. He's now like performing like a basically just a proper premium midfielder. And really staking. If Sheasel wasn't at F1, Jason Horne-Francis is kind of looking like F2, but I mean, F would be looking like an F1, but he looks like basically the next best forward at the moment. He's on a 6-run streak of 100s. Someone in my live stream actually said, his floor scores are gone, and is it? Are they actually? Like I've been nervous in the past, but now I just chalk him. He's got such a good role. He's playing such consistent footy. Is this what we just expect from Jason Horne-Francis now? I don't know. Murphy Reed scored 90, pretty good in a losing game for him. He's got Freo got a little bit of a tough run. Coming up. Well, GWS wasn't so much a tough run, but it was a tough game for them. They lost it. Sydney this week's going to be probably a little bit rough, but then after that, Freo, their run really frees up. Port, West Coast, Bulldogs, Melbourne, Adelaide, Carlton to finish. I can see Murphy Reed having a good back end of the season. So as much as he hasn't been great for the whole season, like he's only averaging 91, I think he can finish averaging 100 hopefully, and that'll be good for my team. So hopefully, and he's obviously a freak. Like, you see what he does with the ball. It's like the game's in slow motion for him. It doesn't look like he's ever sprinting. He's just gliding around and just like picks off these beautiful targets. Like, just yeah, he hits the ball so sweet, and he's probably the best sort of forward of 70 player in the league. Like, you get him the ball 70 meters out, and he always makes the right decision. So yeah, 90 points is fine. I just hate those really low scores. Anything 90 plus is all good, you can live with. Cosy Pickett kind of missed out on a big one here. He was probably close to 100 at half time and then only sort of leaked out to 103. He just seems to struggle to really score those massive scores, and he's only averaging 97 now. But I'm not going to complain with a ton. And you guys know how much I like Cozzy. So another good round for Cozzy. Christian Petrarca, this is good to see. Good to see. We needed this as much as you guys know. I don't like Christian Petrarca. It was good to have him back to sort of normal or doing well. So 117 for Petrarca, even though they lost against the Pies, but it was good to have him to bounce back, and hopefully the Gold Coast have a decent run home because yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Adelaide, um, Bulldogs, Carlton, Melbourne, GWS, Brisbane, and Saints. So a decent run to finish. So hopefully Christian Petrarca can sort of cash in that back end of the season. Tuke Miller had the role back this week. He would have attended that many centre bounces. I don't know what the number was, but it would have been high. And the role was there for him to score a ton, and he still leaked to a 93. His disposal is just so poor. He gets enough of the ball. He would have had. Let's have a look. So he's had 28 touches and 10 tackles. Like does this have the centre bounce attendances on there? So he's gone at 61%, 10 tackles. It probably has it on here, but I don't know where it is. He had enough. Like the role was there. The role was there for Tuke to score, but just didn't do it. He's frustrating, man. And you guys know that I was picking between him and I loved Rowan Marshall. I thought he was a great option. I decided to save the trade because once Lockie Whitfield went down and got knocked out, I was like, all right, just hold off on the trades. Who knows? Like, who knows what's going to happen? So I decided to just keep Tuke Miller and not go Rowan Marshall. It ended up costing me 40 points. And now he's priced me out of Rowan Marshall as well by like 6K. I've already had a look. So that's a bit of a pain. But for you guys, I went Rowan Marshall, and I was so high on Rowan Marshall. You guys know how much I like Ruckman in general, and just having them in the team. The more Ruckman, the better. Um, and solo ruck for Rowan Marshall, I think, is going to work well. Mind you, only came up against Essendon, they got actually belted off the park, but I think that's going to be just a common thing. So, and then I had no cover on the bench like a lot of us. Banfield and Padsky didn't play, and then Gorn just went absolutely bonkers against Hawthorn. And we spoke about that with the skinny ground. Hawthorn just can't avoid him. Every single outlet kick that they take, if Melbourne are putting on forward pressure, and they're just going to dump kick out Hawthorn. Earlier in the year, they did the exact same thing. They lost that game, and Gorn just picked off everything, and they just did the exact same thing again. Under pressure, Melbourne put them under pressure, dump kick out, kick it to Gorn, mark, contested mark, over and over and over again. So I think Hawthorn losing their sort of regular distributors out of the half back line as well cost them. They just weren't as sort of assured out of the back line. But yeah, that's how our team scored 2,767. So really, really happy to get in the top 200. It's been really good so far. I feel like my team's in a good position. I honestly probably won't make any trades this week. Um, let's do our awards. So our awards this week: best on ground, back to back, has to be the man, Harry Sheasel, King Harry Sheasel. He he just did it all. He did it all. 180. So look, it probably wasn't worth 180 watching the game. They even lost this game, but I don't care. I don't care. I don't care how champion data or whatever, however they get the points. I don't know how they got to them, but fucking well done. Hopefully you do it for me next week as well. Um, our return to form, and as much as I was so stoked to have him in the fallen off last week, he's back in the list this week, but as a return to form, and it was good for Christian Petrarca to get 117. So Christian Petrarca comes into our return to form, and then our fallen off, and I hate to do it. This is like my god. This is, as a Bulldog fan, this it hurt putting Ed Richards in there. Imagine how much it's going to hurt me, and it hurt me to do this. But I'm actually like, you know, emotional just saying it. But I have to give the forward off to Marcus Bontempelli. And you know what? It almost feels criminal to be doing this. He wasn't the lowest scorer, but Lockie Whitfield was on the way to a ton, and it was only through injury. Bontempelli just didn't get in it. Just didn't get in it. And I don't really have many other, like, I feel bad because he scored an 80. Well, it's not the worst thing. It's not the worst score, but for Marcus Bontempelli, He's meant to be the king of this team. He's let Harry Sheasel take his spot now. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. Has to go. Fair's fair. So Marcus Bontempelli is our fallen off. I'll just talk quickly about one of the real common questions I got asked in the live stream, and maybe that I've been getting asked throughout the week. So, obviously, we're running really, really low on trades, and I've already spoken about not bringing in like really injury-prone players, and I think we've seen with guys like Brent Daniels and stuff like that, them going down is really costing teams. So just be mindful moving forward. That wasn't the question. I just thought I'd add that on there. But the question that I've been getting asked a lot is, should I go 23 primos or should I save trades, sort of sideways trades, and go 22 and sort of tank a position? I'm of the belief is that if you have at least two trades left over after you do it, go to 23 primos because, and then tank after that you know, make the luxury trades now. You got to think what the difference is. And I can't remember who brought this up in the live stream, and I'm sorry that I'm using this as an example, but hopefully it helps a few people. They basically asked me, should I go to 23 primos, or what I want to do? They said is I want to sideways Walsh to Heaney, and I just don't love that. I don't love sidewaysing that, and I know it hurts to see Heaney go 120s, and it hurts to see Walsh, have a down week, right? But at the end of the day, Walsh is going to average 100, and Heaney's going to average 120. So there's 20 points difference per game. But what you lose between having the last primo and the rookie playing in their spot is probably going to be more. So ideally, any primo you bring in, you want to be bringing in a guy that averages 100, right? There's no rookies that you can rely on to do. Like Holger Hahn is an exception and he's doing fantastic, and he's averaging 74. It's still a 25-point loss, and that's on the best sort of rookie that we got going at the moment. I can see maybe an argument for Franku, but also Franku say he averages 80. What's crazy? Like if he does that, you can get midfielders that average 120. So you're missing out on 40 points. So I don't think it's worth it. I think it's better to bring in a 23rd premium, maybe like a really volatile scorer. Even they're fine. A guy that has really high scores, really low scores, because you're going to be basically taking those when you have one primo fail. And I think it's unrealistic to think that all 23 primos are going to fire. Like in a perfect week, yeah, of course, like that's going to happen. But like that might happen. But the odds are you're probably going to have one primo a week at least underperform. So someone like Lockie Whitfield who gets injured during the week. A lot of people had Ross who scored 30. A lot of people like Bontempelli scored 80. Worrell 81. So there's those scores that happen. And if you have a primo do that, and also another guy on the field that's a rookie, all of a sudden you're taking some of those low scores. I will try to avoid that with 23 primos. If you're going down to zero trades though, I can understand tanking a position. But for me, that'd be my advice to you guys. If you can get to 23 primos instead of sideways trading, and I know you want the top guys, I want them too. Like I want to have Heaney, I want to have Dawson, I want to have Anderson, but I can't. And don't get me wrong, like I could sideways trade and get to some. Like I could do it. Like I could make a downgrade now, get to Heaney. I could get to Dawson, but there's still 7 rounds to go. It's important to either hold on to the trades or get to 23 primos, and I think it'll actually score you more. And that's why I decided to hold Tuke, because I think those trades are going to be vital for me. Because I think it's unrealistic to think I'm not going to get 2 injuries by the time the end of the season is. There has to be a balance, and when I push the button and get rid of those two trades and really make an assault on sort of the top 100. But at this stage, I think my team's going okay. Big score on the weekend. Obviously, the Lockie Whitfield injury this weekend is going to hurt, but there's a lot of teams that are. This is my week that I tank a position basically, and that's why it's good having 23 primos, because I can afford someone to miss with a concussion, bring a player, a rookie on or something like that for 1 week, rather than have that every single week. Hopefully, I can avoid that with two trades. I also need two trades just because I got no cover in the forward line. So if I have anyone go down in the forward line for an extended period of time, 2-3 weeks, I'm just going to make the trade, and sideways then. But yeah, that's basically it. Let's have a little bit of a preview, a very early preview of the week ahead. Who's playing Richmond? Melbourne. Do I say less? Say less. Captain Max Gorn. That's a layup. Like this is like an open court layup, a free throw if you don't mind. This is like a free throw that you get to shoot, and if you miss it, you can try to take a layup and you still get the score. Like this is going to be like surely this is massive. Then you got Brisbane playing against Essendon last game of the round as well. Um, so who knows this? But this surely your captain is going on Max Gorn. Vice captain a little bit more tricky. Look, if Port Adelaide didn't put any attention into Sheasel, are they going to bother with Naz? Like, I don't know. The next one's probably difficult. Like, I think if they had Dawson, I really like that game against Gold Coast. I suppose you got to see where you got your loops and stuff like that as well. I keep thinking because of the bye rounds, like you can just sort of captain anyone or vice captain anyone. Bailey Smith's probably going to go all right against GWS. First game of the round's a bit tricky. My two ruckmen playing against each other, that's a bit annoying. How about we just go off Bontempelli against West Coast? Should I do it? I don't know. Let's just put it on Naz for now. So we'll go Naz into Gorn. My projection for some reason has just dropped a ton. Is that because of Whitfield? Like, yeah, put my score up a little bit. So that's how I'm going to have to line up. I know because I've got Neil on the bench as well. So yeah, we're back up sort of that 2,600 projection. Well, it's not too bad. I'll be happy with that. Anything around 2,600 from now on, I think is a good score. So I think that's where I'll leave it, guys. So like I said, thank you for everyone for joining on the live stream this morning. That is a regular thing now. So lock that into your calendars week after week, 10 a.m. every Sunday. Me and Dibble Supercoach are going to be doing a live stream. Talking all things Supercoach. It was a good laugh this morning. I actually had heaps of fun doing it, and I love being able to interact with you guys like in real time. It just makes it a lot easier than me. Like I respond to all your messages basically on YouTube, but some of them are like, should I trade this guy for this guy? And I've got too many questions to ask, and then I end up sending you like a whole essay about who to bring in and bring out. It's just much easier on the live chat to be like, hey, this is what I think you should do, and you can sort of understand what I'm thinking. Hopefully that all makes sense for you guys, but I want to be able to help anyone out as much as I can. But apart from that, continue to subscribe. We're in the top 200, guys. We said that was the goal. We're in the top 200. Thank you for coming along for the journey. And if you haven't subbed yet, you need to sub. I need to get to 200 subs for getting into the top 200 ranks. Change of goal. We're going for the top 100. And when I get to top 100, I'm expecting 1,000 subs. So even though that's probably not realistic, but a boy can dream. So I'll leave it there. I'll try to get my round 18 preview out before the Thursday night game this week. I got a feeling I'll be able to do it this week just with work and stuff. So I'll make sure that I can get it out before then. But like I said, thank you for joining in, guys. And yeah, take it easy. I will catch you guys for the round 18 preview later in the week. Take it easy.